Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, my name is Michael.
My name's Cleve.
And welcome to an exciting episode of Friendship
Supreme.
We're the podcast that dares to ask, what would you do if your mentor, your father figure, and everything you ever knew to look to for advice got shot?
I'll question a lot of things, I guess. And I guess that's what happened, kind of.
Would you quit the team? Walk away?
I don't know. I got a baby coming?
Got my baby. That's all I can think of. I got to get my baby. South Park. It used to be pretty solid. I don't know if it is anymore.
Yeah, it's fun.
What are we talking about today, Cleve?
Oh, we're talking X-Men 97.
I do like they made a little change to it, and I do like it. I think it sounds good.
I watched like a whole side by side of like what they've changed, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like the Cyclops is first, and Jean Grey is like second, which shows how important she is now, and the frame rate that different things are moving to show like depth that they couldn't do back then. A whole fucking thing that is not good for audio, so I'm not gonna get into it. Yeah, no, it was slightly different, but still good.
It was slightly different, but I like that, right? Like we need a little different. Like we are in 2024 now, so give me a little different.
But also 97, so maybe you can get a little bit of a pass on it.
Because it says 97 on it?
Well, that's the time frame it said.
It's set in 90. Yeah, okay. Because it's supposed to be like after.
Did I know that?
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Okay.
I just meant like, I yes, it's set in 97, but like I'm saying right now we're doing the animation, so I need it to be a little different. Like, I need improvements.
I'm saying you can lean back on that old 90s, like a Saturday morning cartoon look and be like, yeah, that it's supposed to look like that, obviously.
That would actually be one.
I did hear they put some kind of filter over it to make it look more.
Did they?
Olderish.
That feels right, and that is one of the few complaints I do have about the whole series so far.
Oh, interesting. Michael hates it.
I don't hate it.
There's 2 episodes out.
There are 2 episodes out currently.
We don't need to go over like everything that happens, I feel like. But I mean, what did you think? What did you feel? What touched you?
So I went back and watched the other animated series about 1.5 years ago because we had some conversation about it and I wanted to go watch it again. And it still stuck with me. Like it was all the social issues that we hit and everything. And so I think it was important. I think that this current one has done a good job of that as well so far in the first 2 episodes. I think that the social stuff is touched on. Without spoiling things, I'm curious to see where we're going from the second episode.
Yeah.
Because
whatever. It's a show.
What's that?
It's 2 episodes. It's the first 2 episodes of a show. Go ahead and spoil.
No, I'm just curious, like where it is that we're going. We've already lost a member of the X-Men. We're going to lose 2 more, and so I'm real curious to see what we're going to do without this particular X-Men. Because while the X-Men are an allegory for POC and like downtrodden, like outcasted people, we got rid of the one. We had one black character.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's going to continue to be in the show. But well, I mean, also if we're not spoiling, I don't think saying the one black character is gonna not spoil who that's gonna be.
You said spoil it. You said spoil.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were still trying to not.
Nah.
I think that because she's got a pretty comic accurate storyline that is like the same story.
Yeah.
So I think she'll be there. I think the whole season is going to surround her trying to get her powers back.
Because she talked about wanting to be normal or wondering what it would be like to be normal. And then she's going to be like, I want my shit back.
Well, you know, when it's taken from you, it feels a little differently. I felt for her, man. Just
That
hopping around a little bit,
that was a
like
good scene.
she had several good scenes. I
Yeah.
feel like the talk with Jean was really good. Um, when she first lost her powers, when she takes a bullet for Magneto and loses her powers, and she puts her hand up and she's like, "I can't feel the breeze." I was like, no, not not Storm, no." And
Um,
then when she jumped when the lightning struck, I'm
mm,
like, she's never had to feel that before
without knowing
at
it's coming
her age.
out
Yeah.
of her control. Yeah.
I was like,
Um,
sucks.
so I will say the second episode was significantly better than the first one to me.
Yeah.
The first one has to be a setup. So, we're not going to get too much into it, but essentially, Xavier was assassinated by the gentleman who was in charge of creating the Sentinel program,
Mhm,
and he's in jail now. It seems like Scott Summers is going to take over the X-Men.
mhm,
Episode 2 comes around, we find out it's actually all been deeded to uh Magneto.
mhm. End of the first, beginning of the
And
second. Yeah.
yeah. And so like the first one is like, how are we going to work together and how is this going to work? And I just
They finally kind of figure it out, and then it's like, just kidding.
yeah, I guess. I still don't care for Scott. Like I think you're right, because I think you kind of mentioned like, oh, he looked really good and stuff. Like I think the animation on him is done well. I think his movement is great. I think it's nice to see that he's matured and he's really falling into this role and he's not as whiny and scouty, but he still annoys me. I don't know what it is.
You're holding on to the old one.
I
Gotta
don't
let
think
go,
I
man.
tried to come into it with a good sense of. I think
Yeah,
maybe
but then
I'm
you
holding
just
on to
saw
the.
that
I
face.
think maybe I'm holding on to the comic book more than anything, because I keep thinking to myself like, you in the comic, like you killed Professor X, so I don't have a lot of sympathy for you.
Well, everybody dies and comes back. It's fine. I'm wondering if, with Magneto on the team, if he'll take more to that rebellious stage of him.
Hmm.
Depending on which comics they want to pull from. But yeah, his fight intro scene with the lasers and the way he was using it
Hmm.
was, I thought, really cool. It looked really good. Obviously, it's gonna look good because, like you said, the animation from now. You even got that old school, like, just in case you weren't sure we were still in the '90s. He was like, "No, don't take my visor. I'm useful to not."
Yeah.
And then the big laser explosion. Like, yeah, you got him, Scott. You
This is
fucking you fucking nailed him.
this is something interesting. So I've always been what I would have considered a fan of the X-Men. We've talked about before when we talk about comic books, the X-Men is kind of a hard comic book to get into because of the vast majority, or the vast like lines that they have of comics.
Mm.
Um, I certainly don't consider myself like an in-depth as far as knowledge goes, but something that I saw somebody point out, and I don't know how true this is, so if there's a Cyclops fan out there, let me know, or if you're more knowledgeable about this. But they were saying that if you think about it, one of the non-known or uncommonly known things about Scott Summers is that he has a psionic field within him.
Okay.
This is why when he closes his eyes, the lasers aren't just melting his eyelids.
That makes sense.
But also the same reason that when he's shooting a huge blast out of his eyes, he's able to stay still because it's not throwing him back.
Hmm.
So that being said, I did think then to myself, how is it possible to do some of the things he did?
Hmm.
But in all
Like,
honesty,
out
it
of the
looked
plane
cool,
and
so
stuff
I'd
like that.
rather that.
Yeah.
I'd rather it look cool, and but like it was interesting because like I'd never thought like it makes sense that closing his eyes shouldn't work if there's just
Mhm.
laser beams constantly shooting out.
I wonder if I were just to make up something, like if you were like, I wonder how it works. I wonder if just positioning of his body, if you are on your tippy toes more than just flat footed, like full stance, if you allowed yourself to kind of take to it as opposed to,
Like even control
staying your
what's
ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
like controlling how much you're holding back or whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably
He's squinting as opposed to like there's just a squint and then a big eye and then squint and then big eye and then squint. I like that you can see his eyes a little bit through the visor too. That's new.
Yeah,
That's not how it was before.
it's
I'm assuming you're talking about when he's coming down
and
from
then
the
he
plane and
shoots
it's just
straight
like,
down and it
I've
stops
got
him.
it.
Kind of, yeah,
Nobody catch me. I'm fine.
yeah.
I've got this.
I mean, I think it looks awesome. It was
When
a
did you learn you
cool
could do that?
scene, right? You know what?
That's a lot of pressure.
The vibe I got watching that almost the entire first episode, but specifically that fight scene, was that it was, and I don't mean this as at a jab at the quality, because I think the quality was actually amazing, but I would say it was a fan-made like montage fight for them. Like,
Yeah.
some fan was like, how sick would it be for all this shit to happen? And so, like, maybe that's to speak good of what is going on there, that like these are people that really enjoy this, that are doing it. I know Kevin Feige's got his hands on it. God knows he's not done a whole lot of wrong, in my opinion. I know that a lot of people are like, the Marvel universe is going down, but like, I have enjoyed most of the things he's done.
Yeah. I will say I think the Gambit Wolverine one makes the least sense to me, because Gambit just makes things explode.
So the thing I think that they're going with is, if you remember in the cartoon and early comics, his claws came out of those metal things, which they left on his costume in this one. And like, it wasn't necessarily a part of his bones. Like, they have retconned it now. So I think it was more like, those are explosive, but they can't explode because they're antimonium. Then they're the hardest, whatever. So like, it still explodes, but like the actual material can't dissipate or deteriorate. So while he's slicing through, it's exploding also. I did think the same thing. Like, I can imagine just Wolverine's whole body, like, you know, exploding from outside in, and the pain. He'd still live because he's Wolverine and somehow lives through everything. But what was the way they killed him? They like sliced him open and then poured molting antimonium on him.
Guys, get in the comments. Talk about how Michael's saying adamantium.
Am I saying it wrong? Antimonium? Am I not saying it right? Antimonium.
You have to see it written to know where the ending's falling short. No, man, we need engagement. They didn't even cut him up. It just kind of poured over him. So I guess in theory he could just still be alive inside.
He's just dead inside, or alive inside of you.
But also, if you didn't have oxygen, well, I mean, no, because he's been able to survive without oxygen. So that's why it just adapts to whatever.
Yeah. Remember when the X-Men
movie? They brought him back by now, right? Yeah, he's got a comic now. How'd they bring him back? Do you know?
I did not see. Remember when the X-Men First Class had a really cool idea for a mutant and then like killed him off immediately?
Darwin?
Yeah.
The
guy that was like, I can attack to anything, no matter what.
The character in the comics, that like is Omega fucking powerful. Yeah. You know what the best part about that fight is when they were all fighting and doing well and having a good time, and then they were like, Scott's like, "Hey, go ahead and call it in." And I told Jennifer I was so pumped when the Sentinels were like, "There's an Omega level threat," and fucking it was so like, and it was. I don't know if you noticed this because I rewound it and watched it again like 2-3 times. There's like a soft piano that kicks in right at the beginning of it, and then it just fucking rips in, and she's like, I
loved as she was walking how the sand was turning to glass, like lightning was hitting it. Yeah, it was
oh man.
Yeah, that's why I'm like really sad. Here's the other thing. She had the only, well, no, there's one other voice actor. She had the only voice actor aside from one other one I'll mention, but that I actually enjoy. Like, I was like, this is perfect. The other one was
a lot
Gambit.
of them came back. I didn't realize.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Rogues is okay. Wolverine's is okay.
Rogues is the original voice.
Is it?
Wolverine's the original voice. But they they told the guy that does Wolverine to change it a bit because they wanted it to sound a bit different.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know, but yeah, because I was like, this must be a different person, and then I looked, and I was like, oh, it's the same guy.
Yeah, I
That's
felt like those
interesting.
two were different.
Yeah.
Scott just sounds like the basic dude he always sounded like. Jean Grey sounds fine, yes. But like Storm and Gambit, I was like, I enjoyed these two a lot. The rest of them were like, eh. Magneto's fine. I love the uniform we're going with Magneto. I remember them like them previewing that in the comics and thinking, what a cool fucking costume that is now.
Yeah, that was real cool.
Yeah, it's the big M on the chest, and yeah, I enjoy it.
The voice of Rogue, I'm trying to find her. She came back to voice Rogue, but she is like, what does she do now? Some sort of like government work.
She's off like doing a real ass job, and they're like, "Hey, we
Yeah.
need you back."
And the voice of Jubilee, they asked her to come back, and she was like, "I would like her to be voiced by the Asian person." Thank you.
Good
And
on her.
bowed out.
Good on her. I had no problem with Jubilee. Her character in this is always going to be weak to me, but fine.
They're giving her. She seems like she'll be more of like the recruitment part of it,
which is fine. She was supposed to be like the connection between kids and the X-Men before, and so we're just going to continue that, which is fine. Is the new kid supposed to be Spot?
Sunspot?
Sunspot, yeah.
Something like that.
Is that just his power? Like, he's not necessarily exactly Sunspot. He's just supposed to be like him.
Looking up his name. Roberto da Costa. So no, that's supposed to be him.
Okay. So that'll be fun.
I think he's gonna be our like connection because he was like, I don't want to deal with any of this. This is wild.
Yeah. But Jubilee was supposed to be the relatable one. He's not relatable.
Yeah. No. I like Morph. I think Morph is great.
It's one of my biggest confusions is Morph. Because I guess because he came back in the animated series, but like he hated them.
Yes,
because he was. But
crazy I also feel like they worked that out.
Didn't they? Okay, and maybe they did. I don't remember.
You would have watched it more recently than I would have.
And I don't remember them working out, but it's possible they did. I know towards the end I stopped caring as much because it's rough.
Pull him back in.
And so I do enjoy. They kind of hinted at the fact that they are the ones that have a real relationship with each other as far as like friends. Yeah, because I loved Morph. I thought what a cool fucking character. And then in the original series, we killed him off pretty quickly. And then it was like he's not episode dead, 1, but like
I think, 1 or 2.
Episode 1, he dies. And then he like comes back later on, and it's like he's crazy and fucking hates everybody because they all abandoned him, and it's the whole.
Mr. Sinister got to him, right?
Yeah, which we're gonna get
in the intro.
Yeah, we're gonna get Mr. Sinister, I think, because of the intro, which is cool.
He's supposed to be this season's like antagonist or whatever. But I wonder if the intro, because the intro has more shooting, and then you see Sinister in his eyes. I wonder if it's saying like. He's still kind of in there somewhere.
That'd be interesting.
Versus like, because they're not gonna. What happened before has all like is all canon,
right? They're not gonna erase it.
Yeah,
yeah. Morph definitely looks different now.
Yeah, they gave him the like the faceless look or whatever. It's fine.
It's fine.
I hate it.
How do you
feel about that Gambit cutoff though?
I know it's so controversial. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, they made Gambit bisexual or gay." Either
remember
way,
his old costume?
No, why the fuck do we care? Gambit gonna Gambit. Let him Gambit. Like I don't care.
I need full shirts and grow gas.
That was the 90s, dog. Everybody was dressed like that shit in the 90s. Anybody with a good body dressed like that. not this guy. But shit, like I'm just saying, like you had abs, fucking show it off. I'm not mad at that. You know, only thing that felt weird, like felt odd, and I know you know where I'm going. I feel like, but
Is it when he set a bomb off kitchen?
no.
Gather yourself.
Rogue and Magneto? Is that canon? It could be. I don't know.
So I don't know that the
That's
animated
an
series
age
touched
gap,
on it.
bro. That's a fucking age gap, bro. Like
Well, how old is Rogue? I know that Magneto was obviously in the Holocaust, but how old is Rogue?
I'll look it up while you explain to me what you're gonna explain to me.
There is a comic where she has his baby or something like that, and we know that she worked with Mystique, so I assume that's where that relationship would have started from.
So
But yeah,
it is estimated that she's in her mid-20s in this series currently. And that
this would have been years ago. So that's interesting.
And that being in the Holocaust, the youngest he could be is 61. More likely somewhere between 61 and 60. I'm just saying a 40-year difference is wild.
Oh yeah, agreed. But she's got daddy issues. Sometimes
So are we just dropping Gambit altogether? Like Gambit's not trying to get it in anymore with her?
Well, I don't think that she's wanting to rekindle it. I think Magneto might still feel something, and I mean, she knows that there's a history, but she was very clearly like, "Hey,
I don't know, dog. That last scene when they're holding hands.
Cat stays in the back." Well, I keep it to effect also that I can't physically touch anybody without murdering them.
And that was what was being said while it was happening.
If they're 40 years older than me, and there's one person that I can physically touch without murdering them,
there was one.
It would be tough not to.
There was
just to hold someone's hand for a moment.
Yeah, it was a line that was, I think Summers was saying while they showed them, and it was talking about how, how meaningful it is to just feel the touch of another person and blah blah blah, and then you see them holding hands, and I mean, I have to assume it's because he can put an electromagnetic field around his hand, basically like a hand condom.
Yeah, something like that.
That you don't know about somehow. Does this mean he never has to put a bang on the Jimmy?
I mean, does that have electricity in it?
I don't know. Guess your whole body kind of does, maybe?
Yeah, once it leaves the body, though, it's awesome.
But like, if you can you create the force field around your...
Why would that hold that, I guess?
God, the man was blocking bullets with fucking magic force fields. Now, I don't expect... You know what? We need... we need Unlucky here to explain astrophysics and shit to me, because I don't know.
You felt like whenever he was giving the will to Scott, like you could see the pieces of metal, like what he's using to get it there was like glowing and stuff. Let's see, who else is there? Who have we not talked about?
Bishop,
I enjoy him. I don't think he's doing anything wrong for me right now.
You know, my hypothesis on the reason that we included Morph in this, by the way, is realistically, as much as I liked him as I thought he was a cool concept, like he's a meaningless X-Men, right? Like, unless you want to talk about, I guess, mental health, maybe we could use. But like, aside from that, like he didn't have a real piece in the X-Men series, and that's why we killed him off, and then also used him to like create drama. Yeah. But what I do think that they're using him for is, without having to include characters in the series, we get to see them sometimes, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Because randomly, I blinked for like 10, like I looked at my daughter, looked back, and Angel's on the screen. And I'm like, where the fuck did Angel come from? And it's just Morph.
I don't know that I understood that his transformation came with power ability.
I didn't think it did.
I thought it was just
Look,
looking at him, but
yeah.
What do I know?
I also didn't think Rogue could just take knowledge from people.
That I remember.
Oh,
If
wow.
you're human, it's like taking their knowledge, and if you're mutant, it's taking your power.
Okay.
That part I
I
did
yeah, I
remember.
didn't remember her being able to take knowledge from someone. They're like, take this fucking doctor's knowledge, and I'm like, do what?
I don't
alright.
think she gets to keep it long. I think just like a mutant power, I think it fades over time. Learn that.
Jubilee's
You
power is
got
still
that?
useless.
She didn't really get to do anything. Hey, she was just having fun, all right?
And
She was a kid.
in the comic, at one point, she's not useless with her powers.
Well, in the comic, at some point, she's a vampire. So,
I just
well, I don't know if they're not gonna let her go on missions. Like, I guess she just goes to school. I guess that's fair enough.
oh, we didn't talk about Hank. His voice was weird, and it's just because it wasn't Frasier. So
Yeah.
I don't.
They still gave him like his quotes of the episode. I thought that was kind of cool. The first episode started a lot like the first one. Once upon a time, there's this new mutant that they gather. They wake up in a hospital. The first person they see is him, and that whole build up.
I will say I really hated the line "My X-Men, come to me, my X-Men," no matter who said it. And then when anybody referred to them as
It's
my
such a staple.
X-Men, I didn't care for it.
But it's such a staple.
They're not. They're not.
It's like
not
Avengers Assemble.
Can they be everybody's X-Men now?
When they said it at that time, it was there. when Professor X used to say it, it was true. Scott got to say it one time. He got to test drive it, and then Magneto came in, and then it was it. You literally are mine now. It's like owning a brand. You can leave.
Are we gonna get
We're still
Brotherhood
X-Men,
members?
though. Ooh, I don't know, because Magneto's doing a lot for the mutant community now.
I loved that he showed up for the sewer guys and was like, "Yeah, I flew them over. What have you guys been doing with all this money? I paid to just send them on over to Genosha."
How did nobody think of this? He was like, "Look, and they're still alive, so yay me."
You're welcome. I've done things. I loved the little montage of him saving people.
Yeah. Let's give me my flowers, because I didn't kill nobody today. You know what I'm saying?
He did. He's like, I mean, the fact that all those people are alive should be a testament to the fact that I'm here for you guys right now.
You're welcome, baby. You can go down there and get them. They're still stuck to the fucking wall. If the rats get them, that's not me. If the rats get them, that's not me.
When he put the metal over her mouth, solid scene.
Yo, now let's talk about. I got some real chills in the speech. Well, first of all, so he's giving the speech at, we'll call it City Hall.
Yeah.
In front of the court. And
Capitol Hill.
Yeah, and he's like, I've only acted as a reaction. I've only done something because something was done. And it's been my whole life like this. Don't fucking come tell me I'm doing something wrong when you're attacking me and then I attack. That's not how it works. And then, we get a cool recreation of January 6th. And then
I would have given an animator so much money to put a MAGA hat on one of them.
Just a red hat with some white writing would have been enough. And then Storm loses her powers, and he's like, "You motherfuckers," and lifts up the Executioner, who apparently is a character I've never heard of.
I have a card of his when I was a kid.
Of course you did. There's always some random little piece of, like, I remember that guy from this thing. And then picked up the people who were putting him on trial, took them so far into the air that they're breathing out cold air. And he's like, I could just fucking squish you if I wanted to. I could smite you because I'm a god and you're ants. But my friend believes in me, and I'm a different man today. You lucky you met me today, and not a week ago. A week ago, y'all would have been in it. Today, you're good. And then the best, like, I think word for word quote that I even remember from all of it was, "Don't what was it? Don't force me to let you down," or some shit like
Yeah.
that. I was like, yeah,
Don't make me let you down. While
that
they're
was
also
like,
still in the atmosphere, because there's a little double meaning to that.
and oh boy, the excuses just rotate just to prove a point that you really got no control over what's happening right now.
As he's trying to run
And
away, just fucking stripping him of all his shit.
the olive branch just covered in threat is like just the most Magneto thing I feel like you can do. Like, look, I'm I'm telling you I'm good. Don't
Don't fucking make me regret it.
don't pull something. You
I
pull something, I'm gonna be on it.
I enjoyed the next morning when they had the reporter, and like, and one of the other things that they're gonna do is make Genosha a part of the, or Genosha,
Yep.
Genosha,
Yeah, that sounds right.
a part of the UN. And Scott's like, I never even thought of that. I'm like, dumb people.
What were you guys trying to do? Just fucking
Just
stop
exist.
pickpockets?
Just
Like,
exist at this point. But Eric brought up a good point. Magneto, he said, good things only come to shadow, or in the shadows of horrible tragedy. So it might be a good day for our people, but shit's coming.
put the hand on the shoulder, like, look, you piece of advice, you protect this family, because I don't know. I have to assume it's happened in the comics because I've seen it in a movie at some point. But I thought it made me think of the terrible one of the terrible ones. Was it Apocalypse when he
Mm.
lost his family? Yeah, I'm like, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's seen some shit, and he's like, I'm trying to tell you, don't fuck it up.
We
And then
got
Gambit was like, man, you should have got shot, not somebody else, because he's all jealous.
he did say you should have gotten shot. Gambit, he's a guy.
Mhm. You know, he's not a creeper.
He's just a guy living his life, cooking his fucking beignets. Because that's what we know about people from Louisiana. They cook beignets and
it.
they got an accent.
He guaranteed.
Let us know what you guys think. Tell us what I said wrong. Tell me how I'm supposed to pronounce adamantium, and anemone.
Animaniacs?
Animaniacs. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. If you're looking for more content from us, you can find it everywhere at Friendship Supreme. That's just Google it, because we exist everywhere. But we're also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Friendship Supreme.
We're on YouTube?
We are on YouTube, guys. We're getting close to our 300th episode.
Almost there.
It's crazy. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I did. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve. And to me, my X-Men.